The history of ancient Africa hides many amazing facts that are rarely mentioned in textbooks. Great universities, high technology, developed metallurgy, powerful trading empires, and deep scientific thought, all this existed on the African continent long before colonization. In this video, you will learn 8 true historical facts that can completely change your understanding of Africa. This journey will show Africa as the cradle of not only humanity, but also culture, science, and engineering. Are you ready to be amazed? Let's go! Timbuktu, an ancient city in Mali, became one of the greatest centers of learning in the world in the 14th to 16th centuries. It housed 3 major universities, of which Sankore was particularly prominent. This university could accommodate up to 25,000 students, putting it on a par with the best educational institutions in Europe and Asia at the time. The curriculum included theology, law, mathematics, medicine, philosophy, astronomy, and rhetoric. The educational process was supervised by elders and scholars who came from North Africa, Arabia, and Andalusia. All instruction was conducted in Arabic and local languages. The city contained up to 700,000 manuscripts, some of which have not yet been deciphered. The universities of Timbuktu became more than just a center of religious learning. They were real academies where knowledge was stored and created. The city has become a symbol of Africa's intellectual greatness, challenging stereotypes about its past and confirming its high level of cultural development. The Nok civilization, named after the place where their sculpture was first found, near the African village of Nok, emerged in Nigeria around 1500 BC and mysteriously disappeared around 500 AD, having thus existed for about 2,000 years on the territory of modern Nigeria, is considered one of the first in the world to master iron metallurgy. This happened many centuries before iron began to be actively processed in Europe. And what is especially important is that it happened independently, without external influence. The inhabitants of Nok made iron tools, instruments, and weapons. Their technology allowed them to reach temperatures above 1,000 degrees Celsius. Archaeologists find unique smelting furnaces, remains of forges, and workshops. These discoveries amazed scientists, because at that time there were no cities in the region, and the technology was already high. The Nok are also known for their terracotta sculptures, exquisite, abstract, with complex detailing. These artifacts have become symbols of ancient African culture and objects of museum collections around the world. The Nok legacy proves that technological progress in Africa began much earlier than is commonly believed. The Mali Empire was one of the richest states in the world in the 13th to 16th centuries. Its economy was based on gold and salt production and control of trade routes across the Sahara. Under the rule of the legendary Mansa Musa, Mali's territory covered vast regions of West Africa, from the Atlantic to Niger. Mansa Musa became famous throughout the world after his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. His caravan included 60,000 people and hundreds of camels loaded with tons of gold. In Cairo, he distributed so much precious metal that it caused inflation that lasted for more than 10 years. His name appeared on the maps of Europe as a symbol of incredible wealth. But Mali was not only rich. Science, architecture, and culture developed in the cities of Timbuktu and Gao. Libraries and educational institutions flourished. Mali demonstrated to the world that Africa was not only a source of resources, but also a civilization with a rich intellectual heritage. Carthage, founded by the Phoenicians in the 9th century BC in what is now Tunisia, was not just a trading city, but a powerful maritime and engineering superpower. The African empire had a fleet that controlled the entire western Mediterranean. The Carthaginians developed shipbuilding, maritime navigation, and port technology for centuries to come. One of the greatest engineering achievements was the military and commercial port, built as a circular harbor with an internal dock for warships. It could accommodate up to 220 ships at a time. Carthage's infrastructure included aqueducts, paved streets, multi-story buildings, temples, and granaries. In economic and scientific terms, Carthage surpassed many cities of its time. It observed the stars, developed medicine, agriculture, and the financial system. Many technologies later attributed to the Romans were borrowed from the Carthaginians. This African civilization is proof of the highest level of engineering and cultural thought. In the southern part of Africa, on the territory of modern Zimbabwe, from the 9th to the 15th century there was a unique city, Great Zimbabwe. Its main wonder is the large-scale stone buildings created without the use of cement or lime mortar. Walls up to 11 meters high and more than 200 meters long were built from hewn granite blocks, perfectly fitted to each other. The city was not only an architectural wonder, but also a center of politics, religion, and trade. Great Zimbabwe controlled the routes connecting Central Africa with the Indian Ocean. Archaeologists have found porcelain from China, Arab coins, and glass beads here, evidence of international contacts. The population of the city reached 18,000 people. Crafts, cattle breeding, and gold mining flourished here. Unique stone towers and circular courtyards indicate a complex social structure. Great Zimbabwe is a direct refutation of the myth of wild Africa and a vivid confirmation of the ancient engineering genius of the region. After the decline of the Mali Empire, the Songhai Empire emerged on its lands in the 15th century, one of the most powerful states in African history. The center of the state was the city of Gao, which controlled strategic trade routes across the Sahara, linking West and North Africa. The empire covered vast territories and numbered millions of inhabitants. Songhai had a regular army of up to 40,000 infantry and 10,000 cavalry. They were armed with guns and artillery acquired from the Moroccans and Turks, which made their army one of the most technologically advanced in the region. Gao, Jen, and Timbuktu flourished as centers of education, crafts, and trade. The empire had an advanced administrative system with officials, courts, and tax collectors. Songhai became not just a successor to Mali, but an independent civilization that combined strength, culture, and economic power. The Nok culture, which existed in what is now Nigeria from about 1500 BC, astounds historians with the level of its early metallurgy. These people began smelting and processing iron 1,000 years before it was widely used in Europe. This puts the Nok on a par with the ancient civilizations of the Middle East and India. Archaeologists have found iron tools, weapons, and numerous remains of blast furnaces. Particularly famous are the Nok terracotta statues, highly artistic, stylized images of people and animals, unique in their form and symbolism. Such objects require knowledge not only of art, but also of the technologies of firing and clay production. The discovery of metallurgy and terracotta in Nok proves that West Africa had independent centers of technological and cultural progress, developing in parallel and not secondary to other parts of the world. This turns the established notions of technologically backward Africa upside down. In the 15th century, when Europe was just beginning to emerge from the Middle Ages, the African city of Timbuktu already had a university and library system that was impressive in its scale. Tens of thousands of manuscripts on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, law, philosophy, and theology were kept here. The main centers of knowledge were the University of Sankore, as well as the madrasas of Sidi Yahya and Jingariber. Scholars from different countries of the Islamic world came to Timbuktu to exchange knowledge. Education was systematic. There were levels of training, exams, diplomas, and a hierarchy of teachers. Works on logic, physics, and geography were written in Arabic and African languages. Many of these manuscripts are still being studied. Some contain data on the movements of the planets, tables of medicines, and even early forms of algebra. Timbuktu is not a mythical symbol, but a real intellectual center, proving that West Africa was a full-fledged part of the world's scientific tradition. Africa before the arrival of Europeans was a continent of rich knowledge, cultures, technologies, and great civilizations. From the Iron of Nok to the universities of Timbuktu, it is all part of world history. It is time to break the stereotypes and recognize the true heritage of Africa. Share this video so that the truth about its past becomes known to everyone. Did you like the video? Like and subscribe. Until next time.